Tomorrow, Arizona is set to execute its third prisoner this year. Murray Hooper was convicted of murdering two people in the 80s and is now set to die by lethal injection. Decades after the crime, he still claims he's innocent. Mark Curtis was chosen to be a media witness to the execution and joins us now from Pinal County with more on the case. Mark?
Good evening, Caribe. We're outside the state prison here in Florence, where tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., barring a last-minute stay of execution, Murray Hooper will be put to death by lethal injection. For Hooper, who since 1980 has maintained his innocence, this will mark the end of a long string of appeals. But for a woman in North Phoenix, this may finally bring some justice.
I'll never forget it. Like I say, it was the most heinous crime that I've ever been involved in as a prosecutor.
On New Year's Eve of 1980, death came calling for the Redmond family and their mother-in-law. Ed McCall, a former Phoenix police officer, knocked on their door as they were preparing for a party. He identified himself as a cop and was let in.
But he was soon joined by two rather big, burly guys who had been brought in specifically to kill Patrick Redmond.
Those burly guys were Murray Hooper and William Bracey, two known enforcers with the Chicago mob who had been sent to kill Patrick Redmond after he refused their demand to use his printing business to launder money. Joe Brownlee was the lead prosecutor on the case.
Mr. Redmond was shot first, twice in the back of the head, a very typical execution style from Chicago, and Mrs. Phelps was then shot twice in the head. Murray Hooper only had one bullet left, and he shot Mrs. Redmond.
But miraculously, she didn't die. And in 1982, during Hooper's trial...
And then the judge asked if there was any more witnesses, Mr. Brownlee, and I said, yes, the state calls Marilyn Redmond.
There's an old saying that dead men tell no tales, but live ones do. And in the end, her testimony would send Hooper to the death house.
There's nothing like an eyewitness who stood in front of a jury and pointed right at him. That's the man that shot me.
And what about Bobby Cruz from that Chicago crime family that wanted McCall dead?
He disappeared. He was found about 10 years after that, buried in a cornfield in rural Chicago, shot execution style. And they were putting in a housing addition, and all of a sudden they uncovered a buried body, Bobby Cruz.
Again, Hooper, barring something unforeseen, which at this point is unlikely since his last appeal was turned down this morning by the Arizona Supreme Court, Hooper will be executed. I've been chosen as a media witness for the execution, and I'll be joining you tomorrow live with full reports on what happened. In Florence, Mark Curtis, 12 News.